Black sports writers are the griots of the games. They've covered events and turned sports into social justice movements while creating athletes who became celebrities and influencers long before social media. Their work has been often overlooked, but on a special night at North Carolina A&T State University, the greatest Black American sports writers who've innovated the game of sports journalism were inducted as the inaugural class into the Black Sports Writers Hall of Fame.
I am so thrilled, happy, oh my goodness gracious. My dream came true. That's all I can say, my dream came true. My message is clear. No one, and I mean no one, can erase our history or tell our story better than we can. No way, no how.
The thing that echoed with me the most tonight was the fact that we knew everybody who was there in the room covering sports and that they were Black. Now we don't know everybody, and that's a good thing. Leon and myself, I think we both could attest to the fact how hard we work to try to integrate newsrooms, bring young Black talent up the road, up the path, and I think we've been able to accomplish a lot of those things.
My biggest takeaway tonight is the word family. And what you saw in the room tonight was a lot of love among the sports writers. And in today's society, I think sometimes we tend to forget the importance of this group and what we have accomplished. So when I heard about it, I just wanted to be here, despite a very, very busy schedule, because everybody in that room have walked an interesting walk. And we're here to talk about it, but tonight sort of crystallized the importance of that walk. And at the end of the day, we all walk as one and as one family.
The class of 2025 featured two pioneers who began as sports writers that crossed over into television, and a woman who became the first woman beat writer covering the New York Yankees in Major League Baseball history.
I think that those days are gone. Maybe one player or two are African Americans, and it would be a whole different world if I was just starting out and there were no African American sports writers. Guaranteed, sports writers, Black sports writers outnumber the Black players in baseball now. It's a whole different dichotomy, and it's really hard to accept because I think I covered the golden age of Black baseball, and that golden age is gone. 2 years ago, there were 11 teams that had one or fewer African American players. Baseball's never been more diverse, but until we revive and thrive here at the level of HBCUs, or find a way to get scholarships to our youngsters, the boys and the girls, it's going to remain that way, and that's one of my deep regrets.
However, it was a standard by those who worked in the Black press that changed the coverage of the game. Wendell Smith of the Pittsburgh Courier and Sam Lacey of the Baltimore Afro-American were champions for integration of Major League Baseball, which was a key. When Jackie Robinson broke baseball's color barriers, that also opened the doors of the NBA and NFL to Black athletes.
Claire, I always will just love you for. I mean, you had such respect, the respect that they gave you in those press boxes. When you put your arm around me, it's like the seas part. And they said, cool, if you're cool with Claire, you're cool with us. I'll always appreciate you for that. You know, those guys were all inspiration to us. You know, Ralph, Larry Whiteside, Burwell, Sam Lacey was a mentor of mine, Tom Greer. And it's so weird, you know, get up, I mean, we knew these people. They were like people who were mentors, and we, you know, they coached us and mentored us. Brown's a great friend.
Well, I would write these columns and they would appear on Saturday morning, and I would come home back in the days of voicemail, tape. You guys, nothing was digital. You had tape, and it would go on forever and ever and ever. Somebody could run your tape out. And so I would get home from whatever I was doing on Saturday morning, there would be a message. And it would just start in, Will Bond is wild. And he would start critiquing the column that was in the paper that day. From the beginning to the end. you know, I like this league, but the second, third, fourth, fifth drafts are kind of a waste of time. You should have jumped. I'm like, who is this dude? He is just calling me up, and this will go on for like 10 minutes. Ralph is wearing out my tape, critiquing my column on a Saturday morning. I'm like, damn, man, that was okay. So the next Saturday morning, I'm out and about. I maybe land. I come in from a Friday game, Boston Garden. I heard about Larry Bird versus Isaiah Thomas. I get back, and there's another message from Ralph the next Saturday morning. And he would go through it. It's like he was like an editor bleeding red ink on my column that Saturday. And this went on and on and on every Saturday. The amazing thing is, by the 8th or 10th week, I'd come to expect it. And by the 15th, 18th week of this, I needed it. I wanted it. I looked forward to it. And then I got to a point where I didn't get a call from Ralph. There was a column in Saturday, and I moved on, and some columns were in Sunday, and some columns were in prominent places on important issues, and there'd be nothing from Ralph. And so I got to finally know Mr. Wiley, and I could ask Ralph, we were having dinner after an NBA game, Ralph, I had nothing, what happened? You'll leave me. You got this.
But nothing is better than to be celebrated by your own people and your own peers. And North Carolina A&T and this community, this is for you. I was so impressed when David Squires invited me here to do a baseball masterclass a few years ago. It was then I knew that the Black Sportswriters Hall of Fame had to be housed here on this campus for these students. The students were so engaged. The program was unbelievable, the kids. And I said, we need to do something for this university. And truly, there are now 3 better people in journalism who deserve to be in the first induction class of this Hall of Fame. All 3 are distinguished writers, and I have a personal relationship with all of them. It's truly a blessing. Bill wrote, I know he gets tired of me telling his story. My first road trip, we're covering St. John's basketball. We're taking a plane to Buffalo. Get off the plane, I'm 22 years old. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I'm doing. Mark Jackson was on the team. Lou Cornacek was the coach. And Bill sees me and he says, what hotel you stay? You got to rent a car? You know what time to do what we're doing? I didn't know anything. Bill said, get in the car with me. And my point here, when people ask me about mentoring, I didn't have to ask Bill for help. He offered. That's the message. I didn't have to say, can you help me? He knew I needed help, and he helped me. Claire Smith, we already know. Claire Smith and I spent many days and nights at Yankee Stadium and Shea Stadium, and we have one moment, I hope she remembers, but I remember buying an engagement ring to get married. Okay, it didn't last long, Gary, but it's okay. I bought the engagement ring. I went to the Diamond District in New York, bought the ring, and showed up at Shea Stadium with the ring in my pocket. And I showed it to Claire, and I said, Claire, what do you think? And she cried. You remember that, Claire? Claire was the first woman to see that ring other than my fiance. And Claire, just the way she handles herself in baseball, someone I looked up to, and you know baseball is my first love, so I always had a connection with Claire. It's great. Mike Wilbon, how many meals have we had in press rooms, NBA playoffs, and we talked about the world and talked about everything. And Mike, we already know, same thing. Little known fact, Mike covered baseball early in his career. The Baltimore Orioles, so I always have love for Mike because he covered baseball too. Without question, the three people I just mentioned, they are our big three, if you will. Talented, hardworking, trailblazers, and most of all, great people. And unlike the NFL voters with Lamar Jackson's MVP vote, our writers got it right.
There is something to be said for having a special kinship and a fellowship amongst people who look like you in your industry. Black sports writers have often been diminished in terms of their credibility, but the numbers of reporters who have been chronicling the games primarily over the last half century that have been dominated by people of color just let you know that our place is as secure today as it was back in the day. So we owe the black newspapers and the innovative geniuses at mainstream publications who recognize the voices of the black sports writer, and they live on today. Some may be too loud, some may be too far to the left or to the right, but they still tell stories that we all enjoy hearing. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mark Gray, and a heartfelt congratulations to the class of 2025, the inaugural class of the Black Sports Writers Hall of Fame. And if I might be 100% totally honest, my favorite is my fellow Morgan State alumni, William C. Roden. Peace, and keep finding those stories and telling them right.
Black out.